Have you noticed something strange? Appliances keep getting smarter, yet fixing them somehow keeps getting harder. 10 years ago, if your washing machine stopped spinning, you could usually solve the problem yourself. You would order a $20 replacement part, watch a 5-minute repair video, spend an evening with a screwdriver, and by the weekend everything was working again. It was satisfying, it was affordable, and it made you feel like you actually owned the machine sitting in your home. Now fast forward to 2026. Your washing machine fails on a Tuesday night. You remove the back panel, diagnose the problem, and order what appears to be the exact same replacement part. It arrives, you install it perfectly, and then, nothing. The control board flashes an error code. The drum refuses to spin. The replacement part is physically identical, but your own appliance rejects it as if it doesn't belong. What changed? The answer isn't better engineering, it isn't safety, and it certainly isn't an accident. Today's appliances have quietly become some of the most locked down products you can buy. Behind their sleek designs and smart features is a system specifically designed to prevent you from fixing what you already own. Manufacturers have created a repair ecosystem where every road leads back to them, and every broken appliance becomes another opportunity to make money. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 3 biggest traps hidden inside modern appliances, why repair bills keep getting more expensive, why independent repair shops are disappearing, and why millions of homeowners are fighting back through one of the biggest consumer rights movements in decades. The first trap is something called digital parts pairing. On the surface, it sounds harmless, almost technical enough to ignore, but this single feature has completely changed how appliance repairs work. Think about replacing a broken light switch in your house. As long as the replacement fits and carries electricity correctly, it works. That was how appliances operated for decades. Replace the broken part with another compatible part, and you're done. Not anymore. Modern washing machines, refrigerators, dishwashers, and dryers increasingly contain electronic control boards that digitally verify replacement components. Instead of simply checking whether the hardware works, the appliance checks whether the replacement part has been digitally approved. Every major electronic component may carry a unique digital identity. When you install it, the appliance's motherboard performs what technicians often describe as a digital handshake. If the replacement isn't properly authorized, the appliance may refuse to function, enter a restricted operating mode, or display an error requiring specialized service software. The incredible part is that the replacement component can be completely genuine. It could come from the exact same factory, built on the exact same production line, using the exact same materials, and the appliance still refuses to accept it. The problem isn't compatibility. The problem is permission. Instead of owning equipment that works with compatible parts, you are increasingly buying equipment that only works with manufacturer-approved digital authorization. That means the repair isn't actually finished when you install the hardware. Someone still has to unlock it. Usually, that's an authorized technician carrying proprietary software unavailable to ordinary customers or most independent repair businesses. In other words, even after you do the physical repair yourself, you're still forced to pay someone else just to tell the machine that it's allowed to work again. Consumer advocates quickly recognized what was happening. That's why lawmakers began targeting digital parts pairing directly. Oregon became the first state to prohibit manufacturers from using parts pairing to block repairs, with the law taking effect in January 2025. Colorado followed with similar protections beginning in January 2026. Meanwhile, right-to-repair legislation has now been introduced in all 50 states, and public opinion is overwhelmingly on the side of consumers. Around 84% of Americans support right-to-repair laws because they believe ownership should actually mean ownership. But manufacturers haven't simply accepted these changes. Instead, many have shifted toward other methods that are much harder to regulate, which brings us to trap number 2. This one isn't digital, it's physical, and it's called epoxy potting. If you've never opened a modern appliance before, this might surprise you. Inside many newer washing machines, refrigerators, and other household appliances sits a sophisticated electronic control board. Years ago, these circuit boards were fully exposed. If a tiny capacitor, resistor, or relay failed, an experienced technician could identify the faulty component, remove it with a soldering iron, install a replacement costing only a few cents, and have the appliance working again again within minutes. That kind of repair kept costs low, it kept electronics out of landfills, and it rewarded technical skill instead of forcing unnecessary replacement. Today, many manufacturers permanently cover these boards with hardened industrial epoxy resin. Everything underneath becomes sealed inside a solid block. Manufacturers often explain that this protects electronics from moisture, vibration, and environmental damage. Those benefits certainly exist, but repair technicians point out another consequence. Once the board is covered, individual components become almost impossible to access without destroying the entire assembly. You can't inspect failed parts, you can't measure voltages easily, you can't replace a damaged capacitor, you can't even see what actually failed. So instead of replacing one tiny component worth perhaps 10 cents, you replace the entire control board. A repair that once cost almost nothing suddenly becomes a $400 motherboard replacement. That dramatic increase isn't caused by expensive materials, it's caused by eliminating the possibility of inexpensive repair. The board becomes disposable, even when only one tiny electronic component has actually failed. Multiply that across millions of appliances every year, and you begin to understand why appliance repair has become such a profitable business. If you're finding this information useful, take a second to subscribe. Every week we break down the hidden engineering decisions companies use to increase profits and show you what's really happening behind products we use every day. Now let's look at the third trap, and this one may be the most frustrating of all. Back in the 1990s, many appliances practically wanted you to understand them. Open the service panel of a dryer, and you'd often find a complete wiring diagram taped inside. If something stopped working, you could trace the circuit, test components with a basic multimeter, and often figure out the problem yourself. Today's appliances are completely different. Open that same panel, and you'll usually find nothing. No wiring diagram, no troubleshooting guide, just a mysterious error code like E16 or F21. You check the owner's manual, nothing. Search online, still nothing. That's because manufacturers often keep detailed error codes and diagnostic information exclusive to authorized technicians. Eventually, you call for service. A technician plugs in a specialized diagnostic tool and within minutes identifies the problem. That quick visit alone can cost between $100 and $150, not because the repair was difficult, but because you paid for information that was deliberately hidden. And that's how the system works. Hidden diagnostics lead to a service call. The service call identifies the failed part. That replacement may require digital authorization, and if the control board itself has failed. Epoxy potting often forces you to replace the entire board instead of making a simple repair. 3 separate barriers, all working together. It's no surprise that the U.S. appliance repair industry now generates about $7 billion every year, with the average repair costing between $100 and $300. Independent repair shops are struggling too. Many can't access the manufacturer's software, diagnostic tools, or repair documentation, making it harder to compete with authorized service centers. The good news is that states are beginning to fight back. California now requires manufacturers to provide parts, documentation, and diagnostic tools for many products worth $50 or more, while Minnesota has expanded similar protections. New right to repair proposals introduced during 2026 aim to ban software restrictions, require offline repair tools, and prevent companies from demanding serial numbers just to sell replacement parts. The bigger question is simple. If you paid for the appliance, shouldn't you have the right to fix it? Modern machines aren't just breaking differently. They're increasingly designed so that only the manufacturer can profit from the repair. Whether that changes depends on what consumers choose to support in the years ahead. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the hidden engineering and business strategies shaping the products we use every day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.